I'm sorry, but I had to do a response to this video. You're gonna hear some of it, but it's she sort of got this all backwards, and I've already posted some stuff up there. But it's hilarious to watch this stuff, to see how we're perceived from different people around the world. Um, some of this stuff is so stupid. Oh, good. I'll play some of it so you can hear it. I I'm I'm just going to be laughing. It's ridiculous.
And this one's going to be about the differences that Jared and I found between Australia and
America.
the U.S.
Yeah.
So we're just going to jump right into it. So Jared wrote these down while I was driving, and I can't really read his handwriting.
She can't even read his writing.
You know, the best we can.
He wrote all this stuff down, but I can't read it.
He's not home right now, so.
It's
The biggest
classic.
difference between Australia and the States is that in Australia they drive on the left side of the road. I'm sure a lot of you already know that, but if you don't, well, now you know. We learned this one pretty quick since we were driving a lot.
Sort
in the
of
States,
thumbs
we'll
up.
say,
It's like, you've got to learn it fairly
let's
quickly.
pass this person, or we're passing them. In Australia, they say overtake. And when you're driving, most of the time,
No, we say passing and we say overtaking. There's no set rule for that, so I don't know where she's coming with that stuff. But
where we were, because we took more back roads, it would be one lane,
Yeah.
like a 2-lane road, and if you wanted to pass or overtake, they would have overtaking lanes.
we got overtaking
roughly,
lanes,
like
yes.
every 3 miles, there would be an added lane, so you could pass somebody if you wanted to. So that would.
The truth is, you can pass people most of the way. As long as it's not a double line, you can pass people. But because of the road trains and everything like that, because the road trains are very big and they're dangerous to pass, so they have overtaking lanes. So every 10 kilometers or so, they'll have an overtaking lane. So the truck will stay on the left-hand side, and you go around the truck. But you can pass people most of the way. You don't have to wait for that overtaking lane. It's mainly for the trucks. So yeah, she sort of didn't get that idea.
There's another different thing. Jared said he liked that more. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I like it, but I also don't like it, because if there's one slow car and if you're kind of in the middle, then everybody wants to try to pass you, and sometimes it was a lot to deal with. Everyone there is so nice. So nice. I think the only time we ran into somebody that was kind of excuse you, was twice. We were going up to this overlook area to look out, which I'll insert a picture of the place here. And this was the 4th or 5th day we had been here. And you can drive up there, but a lot of people hike it if they live in town. And this lady yelled at us, and she held out her hand, so I waved to her, and then she was like, "Get out of your car and walk." And we were like, "What? You can drive up this hill. I'm sorry, we're on a time crunch." And
Yeah, let me explain something about what she's talking about. It's a lookout. It's a lookout, so you walk up to the lookout and you can look out, right? And what they're talking about is you can drive up there. No, there's an access road for the rangers and for people doing maintenance and people picking up the rubbish bins and things like that. There's an access road that goes up there, but you don't drive up there. You walk up there. The only people that should be driving there are the rangers and the people that pick up the rubbish and do the cleanup around the area. She's not supposed to be driving there. That's why someone's yelling at her to stop and get out of the car. So they completely missed that point. I think if you would have gone back to the start of the access road, it would have said, there would have been a sign saying no entry after this point for vehicles, unless they are maintenance vehicles. So they were driving where they shouldn't have been driving. And I know that you guys have got the same thing in America. Some things it's an access road, but you're not really supposed to, not every Tom, Dick and Harry is supposed to be driving on it. But let's continue.
you don't have time to sit here and hike up it.
I don't have time to sit here and hike up it.
And another lady, it was just, she was kind of a little. Another
And
thing
she doesn't
is
explain
they
the second person.
Jared wrote down the metric system. So gas was only a dollar, like $1.20-ish. So I was pumped. Heck to the yes, it's gonna be cheap gas, but quickly we found out they go off of liters instead of gallons. So the gas ended up being a little bit more than what it is here in Guam or the States in some area. And they also use kilometers instead of miles. So that was a little frustrating at times because we'd see a sign and it would say 400 kilometers till Brisbane, and we'd be driving already 5 hours and we'd be frustrated. But when we looked at Google Maps on our phone, it'd be 200 and something miles. So that was different. This is a really little thing, like very minor, but I just thought I would throw it in here. So we'll say car rental and they say car hire.
Rubbish. We say car rental and car hire. There's no distinction. It can be rental or hire. It's the same thing. We don't distinguish.
That's not really that big of a deal, but I thought I'd throw it in here.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like this girl comes up with some good points, but some of them are just really bad. So that's why I'm talking about it. But you can see that I'm actually crying because I'm laughing so hard at this stuff.
There are a ton of roundabouts. There would be one roundabout, and then 900 feet there would be another roundabout. It was ridiculous.
No, forget the 900 feet. The roundabouts, we have lots of roundabouts, and they're closer than 900 feet. So, yeah, but she's correct on that one. We do have a lot of roundabouts. And do we stop? You're not supposed to. The roundabout's supposed to slow traffic. It's not supposed to stop traffic. Well, in Australia, we give way to the right. Whereas in America, you'd be giving way to your left. We give way to the right. But for the most part, if there's not a car going around the roundabout, you drive straight through it. But no, we don't charge it like a wounded bull or anything like that. But the fact is, you're not supposed to stop. It's not a stop sign, it's a roundabout.
But traffic wasn't as bad as it is in the States, and I don't mind it, but roundabouts kind of freak me out, and these people do not stop. Like, obviously they'll stop if there's a bunch of cars coming, but normally they would just fly through.
Now we fly. We don't drive, we fly.
And they're just, I can make it, and just go. They do not care.
We do care.
Another big thing is their seasons are completely different. So, well, obviously it's summer year-round here in Guam, but it's still pretty much summer in the States since it is August, but it is currently winter time in Australia. So if you are planning a trip there, just keep that in mind because it's not the same, and it gets cold. So cold. We woke up one morning and it was 40 degrees and we were freezing.
Okay, let's talk about the seasons. Now we're on the other side of the equator. So yes, we have exactly the same seasons in exactly the same order, but we have them at different times. So your winter is our summer, blah blah blah. But no, it's not some freakish, alien planet. We have the seasons in the same order. We just have them at different times because we're on the opposite side.
Another big one, which I feel everyone knows, it is a different country. The currency is different. Unfortunately, we didn't bring back really any money. I should have, but everything is rounded, like to the 5th or 10th. There's no anything that's 99 cent. So it'll be...
Everything's not to the 5th or the 10th. It's rounded to the 5 cent or the 10 cent. We don't have 1 cent. We used to have 1 cent coins and we used to have 2 cent coins, and we got rid of those. They were copper coins, but we used to have 1 cent and 2 cent coins. Now the smallest coin we've got is 5 cents. So everything's rounded to 5 cents or 10 cents. So you're not going to get, if it says $4.99, you're going to be paying $5. If it says $4.96, you'll be paying $4.95. So it gets rounded down or rounded up, depending what number is closer. But that's what she's talking about. But when she says it gets rounded to the 5th or the 10th, no, it's to the 10 cents or the 5 cents. It's not 5th or 10th.
$2.50 or $2.10, and the machine, they have a ton of self-checkout, a ton, which was fantastic for us because we could get in and get out of places. And when we were doing that, if we were supposed to get let's say 66 cent back, it would round it down to 65 or round up to 70.
Correct.
So it was really nice. They used coins for $1, $2, 50 cent, 10 cent, and then bills for 5, 10, 15, 20, no, 5,
10, 20.
20, 50.
Yeah. There's no $15 note in Australia.
They do have really cool bills though, and I do like the whole like $1, $2 and change, because we always end up finding we had more money than we thought we did, which was fantastic. I've talked to a couple different people, and they say this isn't that big of a thing, and the states are like this. But I feel like it's different, and you have to be there to kind of see what I'm talking about. But there's a ton of national parks, like a ton. In the States, I feel everything is just like getting developed into towns and just cities and stuff like that. In Australia, it's just land. There's so much.
Okay, I don't have a 10-cent piece, but here is a 5-cent piece. Here is a 20-cent piece. And if you have a look on it, it's got a platypus. Here is a 50-cent piece. And then you've got the $1 and the $2 coin. Now, if you notice, the $2 coin is smaller than the $1 coin, but the $2 coin is thicker. So that's how they tell them apart, blah, blah, blah. But I don't have a 10-cent piece to show you. If I did, I'd show it to you. But that's where I'm going from. But that's our coinage. I'd show you the notes, but I haven't pulled anything out of the bank, so I can't show you the notes. I'll do that another time.
Much land, and we'd be driving somewhere. We went to a bunch of towns right on the beach, and normally if you're 5 minutes from the town, you'll see billboards or gas stations or something. There would be nothing until we were right there, which was pretty cool. I loved it. We did a pretty common drive in Australia, so I'll put up some pictures of some of the road signs that we did see, and I don't know if I got a picture of this one or not.
So basically, they drove up the east coast.
It would literally be trivia
so you don't have that far in between the major cities.
To keep you to stay awake and just keep focused, because the drive we did, I guess a bunch of people do it in.
And what she's talking about now is trivia. There's questions on their own. So they'll have a big sign, and it'll ask you a trivia question. Is to keep you alert. So you'll be looking at the sign thinking, what do I need to know about this sign? And it'll give you a question. And so you have to think about the question, and then later on it gives you the answer. Which, they're not all over the place, but yeah, we do have them.
A motorhome and stuff like that. So, survive this drive. Fish and chips is also a huge thing there, which I thought that was more like England and British. But everywhere we went, instead of saying French fries, it's either potato.
Let's think about what she's saying there. I thought fish and chips was more English or British. England, British, they're sort of the same thing. But let's think about what she's saying. Where did the bulk of Australians come from? Convicts from Britain to Australia. Yes, we like our fish and chips.
Wedges or chips, and everywhere we went had fish and chips. So, I'm not sure. We had fish and chips one night while we were camping. The campsite had it. Jared said it was pretty good. So, the grocery stores.
So she obviously didn't eat the fish and chips, but her boyfriend said they were pretty good.
All the states need to step up their game. We went to this one grocery store called Woolworth, and I don't know if a bunch of Australians like it, but that place changed our lives, and I miss it every single day. It was just amazing, and just if you go to Australia, you have to go to Woolworth, and it may not be that big.
Just a bit of clarification. It's called Woolworths. Woolworths. Not whatever she's saying. But she's not from here. She's not used to that show.
I loved it. Everything was fresh. All the produce, it was super sized. They had already made to go salads with dressing and a little plastic fork.
Yes.
It was just amazing. They had rotisserie chicken, but you could get either half a chicken or a quarter chicken. Like, they had it the whole candy aisle and chip aisle, but the States definitely has more junk food, if that makes sense.
Yep, definitely do.
Like, everything, they just had a lot more fresh food than we do, in my opinion. They also changed speed limits very, 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 very frequently.
True.
We'd be in one place and it'd be 30 kilometers per hour, and then in a mile it'd be 60 kilometers per hour. So
Now, okay, we've got to emphasise that there's no place in Australia that's 30 kilometres an hour except for a parking lot. But we do have the speed limits usually for really built up areas, like really busy areas, especially around schools, it would be 40 kilometres an hour. In built up areas like suburbs, so you're around houses, it's 50 kilometres an hour. Most streets it's 60 kilometres an hour, and for larger streets it's 70 kilometres an hour. And then when you get to the freeway and things like that, you move up to 100 kilometres an hour. And in country roads, the top speed you can do legally in Australia is 110. That's blanket. That's everywhere. We used to have unlimited road speed limits, which was just a couple of wavy lines that says you can go as fast as you like, but they stopped all that, and now basically blanket across Australia, the top speed you can do is 110. And I think in New Zealand it's only 100. So, but yeah, there's no 30 kilometres. I don't know where she's getting 30 kilometres an hour from.
but that was a little different. We were always changing speeds, and it made cruise control hard a couple times. But
Yeah, you'd have to be pretty stupid to be using cruise control in city streets, because yes, she's right. The speed changes all the time, because if you're going from a side street to a main street, the speed changes. Same as, I'm sure it's the same in America. It's not that weird.
not that big of a deal. So my camera stopped recording, and I'm using my big camera. So that
Good.
was fun. I did not know. Where did I stop? I can't even find where I stopped on here. Oh.
Still can't read his writing.
Okay, the next one that I was talking about was how soft drinks are very expensive. Most of the restaurants there, you go up and pay for your food, then you go and sit down and they will bring it to you. And most of the places like that, the water would be roughly $3 and a soft drink would be $6. So
I'll stop her there, because it depends on what kind of place you're going to. Some places you go and sit down, they bring their menu, and then when you're finished eating and everything like that, you walk up and pay. Some places like fast food joints and everything like that, you walk up to the counter, you pay for your meal, and you can sit down and they'll bring it to you. If you ask for tap water, they'll give it to you for free, right? But if you ask for a water, they're going to give you bottled water, in which case it's going to cost you $2.50, $3. But if you ask for tap water, they have to serve you tap water for free. So she's sort of getting a little bit mixed up, but it's the same thing. I'm sure it's the same around the world. It can't be that different. But what she's talking about with the soft drinks, yes, that is true. The soft drinks are quite expensive, and they fill them full of ice, so you don't get that much of a drink.
So it got to the point where we would just buy a case of soda if we wanted and just brought it with us because we're cheap. This is definitely a guy's thing, but Jared was telling me about it. In some of the some of the bathrooms we went in, he said instead of there being urinals and a divider thing, it would just be a trough almost with no dividers, and they would...
Okay, well, you've got a girl that's talking about a male urinal. So I don't see how they'd be much different, because I've seen plenty of American movies, and you guys have got urinals too, so... but I don't understand why she's bringing this up, because she didn't see it herself, and so she's going off what her boyfriend said. But I'm not paying much attention to this. But I'm hoping to sort of skip forward so you don't have to sit through all of this stuff.
An actual cafe that in their McDonald's that'll make lattes, espressos, and all that. They also have those machines. I think a couple places in the state have them where you actually... and it's $19.99, and it comes with four size fry, which is about this big. It was amazing. McDonald's is their Macca's.
No. No, McDonald's over in Australia is McDonald's, right? We shorten it and say Macca's, right? But McDonald's is McDonald's. You know, we haven't changed your name. McDonald's is McDonald's. We just call it Macca's. But she's going on that we've completely changed the name. We haven't. And your Burger King is our Hungry Jack's. There was a licensing problem with the name, so they changed it to Hungry Jack's. And you know, some things are called something different, but the way she's saying it is like we changed the name. No, if you walk around Australia, you'll see McDonald's, but you might have to walk up to an Aussie and say, "Where's the closest Macca's?"
We have TJ Maxx and they have TK Maxx. Target is still the same. Kmart's still the same, even though I was not very impressed with Target.
Not impressed with
I
Target.
was more impressed with Kmart there. Oh, Subway, that's all the same, except Subway doesn't have as many toppings, and I asked for American cheese, and they said they don't have it, which is...
She asked for American cheese, and they said that they didn't have it. We do have it. I mean, you can get Swiss cheese, American cheese, blah, 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 blah. Right? Possibly, at that certain Subway, they might have run out. But you can get American cheese, even though all it is processed cheese. I mean, all the cheeses are basically processed cheese. Just they call one Swiss, they call one English, they call one American, blah, blah, blah. But no, so whatever's happening there, I don't know.
Duh. When you were ordering your sandwich and get to all the veggies and stuff, they ask if you want a salad on your sandwich, so that kind of threw me off. I was like, no. Also, on the bridges, I don't know if we just didn't go over a big enough bridge. Well, we saw 2 bridges with normal-sized guardrails, but most of the bridges I would literally drive down the center of the road because the guardrails were this high. I'm not exaggerating, you can ask Jared.
Okay, she's saying that the guardrails on a bridge are this high. I don't know where she was driving, but that doesn't happen. A guardrail is basically about 3 foot high, and it's very heavy steel. But so I don't know what she's talking about, but that's not going to happen. If you want to see a guardrail, I'll take you for a drive. You can see guardrails on bridges, but no, they're not that low.
They were maybe a foot tall, and it freaked me out because I kept thinking I was going to flip right over the edge into the riverbed. And last but not least is, it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, some of these are just like kind of okay.
Widgy, cringy stuff.
The differences that we found that I just thought I'd make a video and talk about, they dropped the F-bomb hardcore on the radio. I don't know if it was just the station we were listening to or what, but we were sitting there and listening, and it just completely took us off guard because in the States they kind of bleep everything out and really monitor like what you say in a way. But that's gonna be all for this video. Head over to my vlog.
Yeah, I was like, drop the F-bomb on the radio. No, we don't really do that either. It depends on what radio you're listening to, and if you're on a smaller radio, you might get the F-bomb. But they do drop it every so often, but they don't drop it like it's, you know, falling out of the sky. Anyway, so that'll probably do it for this video. But as I just found it really amusing, her take on her time in Australia, and she's from America. She's living in Guam, and she's talking about Australia. So, not so sure about that one. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.